What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Daniel, and welcome back to the video. Today, I'm doing my updated 2024 NASCAR silly season predictions. We're going through all the full-time teams and the part-time entries for 2024. So anyways, let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. We're going to go ahead and start talking about the one car for Trackhouse Racing. This is already confirmed as Ross Chastain has a long-term contract with Trackhouse Racing that I think goes through either the 2027 or 2028 year. Of how well Ross Chastain has run with Trackhouse Racing for the last few years, I think he's continuing doing great things, and also have Busch Beer coming on as a sponsor for 2024. Nonetheless, he will continue driving a one car in 2024. Up next, how about the two car for Team Penske? This is already confirmed as Austin Cindric is the son of Tim Cindric, who is the president of Team Penske. This will be Austin Cindric's third year at Team Penske in the NASCAR Cup Series, and while he has struggled in 2023, I think Austin Cindric does have a great chance and great possibility to improve in 2024. Nonetheless, he will continue driving a two car in 2024. Up next, how about the three car for Richard Childress Racing? This is already confirmed as Austin Dillon has a contract right now through 2025 with Richard Childress Racing, but I do expect that Austin Dillon will be driving for the team for at least the next 5 to 10 years. I think long-term Austin Dillon will become an executive of Richard Childress Racing, but I think he's been doing solid things, even though he has struggled in 2023. I blame that more on Keith Rodden than anything else currently at the moment. Up next, how about the four car for Stewart-Haas Racing? It's obviously been announced Kevin Harvick is retiring at the end of 2023, and it was confirmed back in the middle of June that Josh Berry will start driving the four car for Stewart-Haas Racing in 2024. Josh Berry's been doing really good in the Xfinity Series with Junior Motorsports. I think he's going to be a really big asset to Stewart-Haas Racing, and I think he'll do a really solid job with Stewart-Haas Racing starting in 2024. I think we'll have the rookie struggles, but I still think he'll do solid and good things with SHR long term. Up next, how about the 5 car for Hendrick Motorsports? This is already confirmed as Kyle Larson will drive the 5 car at least through the 2026 season, and I expect Kyle Larson next year or two to get a contract extension with Hendrick Motorsports. Kyle Larson's had a pretty solid year in 2023, and I expect Kyle Larson to be here for many more years to come, including in the 2024 Cup Series season, also run the Indy 500. Up next, how about the 6 car for RFK Racing? This is already confirmed as Brad Keselowski will continue driving the 6 car for RFK in 2024. Now, Brad Keselowski will be getting closer to the end of his NASCAR Cup Series career, as in 2024, Brad Keselowski will be 40 years old. But Brad Keselowski has been having a resurgence in 2023, and I do expect that will continue in the 2024 NASCAR Cup Series season as he continues driving the number 6 car. Up next, top of the 7 car for Spire Motorsports. It's already been confirmed as Corey LaJoie about a month or two ago announced a multi-year contract extension with Spire Motorsports. Corey LaJoie has been having a pretty decent year with Spire Motorsports in the 2023 season, and I think that Corey LaJoie is only going to get better in 2024. Yes, he struggled at times this year, but Spire Motorsports has improved, and Corey LaJoie, I think, will continue being a great asset to the team in the 2024 NASCAR Cup Series season. Up next, how about the 8 car for Rich Childress Racing? This is already confirmed as Kyle Busch will continue driving the 8 car for the rest of his NASCAR Cup Series career. Now, Kyle Busch in 2024 at the end of the year will be 39 years old, but Kyle Busch has a plan to run till around 2020-30 or 2029. Kyle Busch is a very solid driver, so to this day, having a career surges in 2023, and I expect that to continue in 2024 with the organization going forward, and will continue driving his 8 car for many years to come. Up next, how about the 9 car for Hendrick Motorsports? This already confirmed as Chase Elliott has a contract extension through 2027. And Chase Elliott, while he has struggled in 2023, I blame that more on the injury and mistakes he's made out on the racetrack. But he's been improving at the end of this year. And I expect in 2024, Chase Elliott to be back in his championship caliber form and be a championship contender. But he will for sure continue driving the 9 car for Hendrick Motorsports in the 2024 season. Up next, how about the 10 car for Stewart-Haas Racing? Now, there's been a lot of speculation and questions in regards to the 10 car for Stewart-Haas Racing. A lot of people in the industry believe that Eric Almirola is going to retire at the end of 2023, and Smithfield is going to be gone as well. So who's going to take that 10 car in 2024? Well, I think that Cole Custer, currently drives a 00 car for Stewart-Haas Racing, is going to take over the 10 car in 2024. Now, Cole Custer did drive in a Cup Series for Stewart-Haas Racing in 2020 and 2021 and 2022, and didn't have great years in Cup. I don't know if he'll do great when he comes back in 2024, but I do expect that Cole Custer will be in that 10 car in 2024, as they're not going to require any sponsorship. Up next, how about the 11 car for Joe Gibbs Racing? This is already confirmed, as Denny Hamlin about a week or two ago announced a multi-year contract extension with Joe Gibbs Racing. Denny Hamlin's also having a great playoff run so far, and I think Denny Hamlin has a great chance to win his first championship in 2023, but he will be committed with Joe Gibbs Racing at least through the next 2025 or 2026, and maybe even longer. Up next, how about the 12th car for Team Penske? This is already confirmed, as Ryan Blaney has a long-term contract with Team Penske through 2026 or 2027. Ryan Blaney is still in the playoffs current moment in the round of 12 and has won a race so far, that of course being the Coca-Cola 600. Ryan Blaney will continue, I think, doing solid things with Team Penske for many, many years to come, and I do expect that he'll be with this team probably for the rest of his Cup Series career. Nonetheless, he'll continue driving the 12 in 2024. Up next, how about the 13 car for Kaulig Racing? This year in 2023, Kaulig Racing has ran a third part-time entry, and I expect that this car will continue in 2024. I think Chandler Smith will drive this car on a part-time basis, but more races than he's ran this year. I think that Matt DiBenedetto is also going to drive his car on a part-time basis. Matt DiBenedetto does not have a ride past 2023, so he's been announced to be let go from Rackley War Racing. I think he's going to drive this car as well. So I think Matt DiBenedetto is going to be in Kaulig Racing's Xfinity program next year, and I think AJ Allmendinger will not be back in the Cup Series full-time, but will run a part-time Cup schedule as he returns to Xfinity in 2024. So I think this ride is going to be split between Chandler Smith, Matt DiBenedetto, and AJ Allmendinger. Up next, how about the 14 car for Stewart-Haas Racing? This already confirmed, is back in January and late January. It was announced that Chase Briscoe signed a multi-year contract extension with Stewart-Haas Racing. While Chase Briscoe struggled in the 2023 year, I blame that more on Stewart-Haas Racing than anything else. Remember, last year, he made it to the round of they had a chance to win the championship for, even get to the championship for. So I think it was really impressive then. Nonetheless, Chase Briscoe will for sure continue driving the 14 in 2024. Up next, how about the 15 car for Rick Ware Racing? This has been pretty much confirmed, though the number hasn't been confirmed at this point, but Justin Haley will join Rick Ware Racing in 2024, and I think he'll be in the 15 car in 2024. Justin Haley signed a multi-year contract with Rick Ware Racing, an RFK alliance. We've seen Rick Ware show signs of improvement, and I think Justin Haley is going to be a big part in helping Rick Ware Racing grow even more in 2024. Nonetheless, he'll join Rick Ware in 2024 in the 15 car. Up next, how about the 16 car for Kaulig Racing? I had mentioned that this 16 car is going to be available in 2024. I believe AJ Allmendinger is moving back to Xfinity. So who is going to take the 16 car for Kaulig Racing in 2024? A name that has been linked to the 16 car, and I think the person, unfortunately, is going to be taking the 16 car next year in 2024. I sadly think it's going to be Ty Dillon. Ty Dillon's been linked to Kaulig Racing for the last few months. PRN's brought it up, and also a lot of people believe that there's a chance that he could be in this car, because I think he's going to be out of Spire Motorsports at the end of the year. Do I want Ty Dillon in the car? Absolutely not, but I think that Kaulig Racing is going to play it safe because of the RCR ties, so I think Ty Dillon will be in the 16 in 2024. Up next, how about the 17 car for RFK Racing? This already confirmed, as Chris Buescher has a long-term contract with RFK Racing. Chris Buescher's have been having a fantastic year in 2023, scoring 3 wins, and has a really solid shot to maybe win his first NASCAR Cup Series championship. I think Chris Buescher is going to continue doing great things for many, many years to come, and it's good to see that he'll continue driving for RFK Racing in the 2024 season, and at least for the foreseeable future. Up next, how about the 19 car for Joe Gibbs Racing? This has already been confirmed, as Mark Truex Jr. will return to the 19 car for Joe Gibbs Racing in 2024. Mark Truex Jr. has already scored 3 wins this year in 2023, and I expect the same performance and results to continue in the 2024 year. Mark Truex Jr. is a great driver, and I think he's going to have another pretty solid year in 2024, and will continue driving the 19 car in 2024. Up next, how about the 20 car for Joe Gibbs Racing? This is already confirmed, as Chris Bell has a long-term contract with Joe Gibbs Racing. Chris Bell's been having a decent year in the Cup Series, already one win this year coming at Bristol Dirt, but has shown some promise, especially in the first round of the playoffs. I do believe that Chris Bell is going to be long-term a great driver for Joe Gibbs Racing, which he's kind of proven that. Got 3 wins last year. I think that Chris Bell will win many more races and maybe a championship in the foreseeable future. Up next, how about the 21 car for the Wood Brothers? Well, nothing's been officially announced at this point for the Wood Brothers. It's expected that Harrison Burton is going to return to the Wood Brothers in 2024. Now, Harrison Burton has definitely struggled in the Cup Series with the Wood Brothers, but Harrison Burton does have sponsorship, which is a big reason why he's going to be sticking around. And also, you do have to remember that Harrison Burton is only 23 years old, so he's still a relatively young driver. I think can get better over time. So we will see him back in that 21 car more than likely in 2024. Up next, how about the 22 car for Team Penske? This is confirmed as Joey Logano has a contract through 2028. While Joey Logano did get eliminated in the round of 16, he is still the defending champion, and Joey Logano did win a race in 2023. And I expect in 2024 that Joey Logano will once again be a championship contender if Team Penske can get their stuff together. Nonetheless, Joey Logano will have a ride long-term with Team Penske. Up next, how about the 23 car for 23XI Racing? This is confirmed as Bubba Wallace has a multi-year contract with 23XI. Interestingly, though, that's been reported by, I believe, by Freddie Kraft from Door Bumper Clear, that Bubba Wallace's contract only goes through 2024. But I do believe that Bubba Wallace is going to get a long-term extension with 23XI Racing. He made the round of 12 in the playoffs, which is very, very impressive. And Bubba Wallace had a solid year in the Cup Series this year. So I do believe that Bubba Wallace will get more wins with this team and continue to help 23XI Racing grow and bring sponsorship in to the organization. Up next, how about the 24 car for Hendrick Motorsports? This is confirmed as William Byron has a contract through 2025. With how well William Byron's been performing this year, he's probably going to get a much long-term deal with Hendrick Motorsports. We like William Byron around here. He's had 5 wins this year, and I think he's going to win many more races. And maybe, just maybe this year in 2023, he can cap it off by winning his first NASCAR Cup Series championship. He's already won an Xfinity championship, could have won a truck championship. He can cap it off by winning the championship this year. Up next, how about the 31 car for Kaulig Racing? This has been confirmed recently as this past week, Kaulig Racing confirmed that Daniel Hemrick will be in the 31 car for Kaulig Racing in 2024. It's a safe choice in my opinion. Daniel Hemrick has kind of struggled at times in the Cup and Xfinity Series, but also Daniel Hemrick I think has been a pretty keen driver, very, very respectful. And he doesn't tear up equipment either. And I think Daniel Hemrick will have a solid year with Kaulig Racing, but I think they're stagnating currently at the moment. Nonetheless, he will drive the 31 in 2024. Up next, how about the 33 car for Richard Childress Racing? I think in 2024, Richard Childress Racing is going to bring back the 33 car. And I think that Austin Hill will return to the 21 car for their team in the Xfinity Series, and Brody Kosecki are going to split the ride. I think Austin Hill is going to run quite a few Cup Series races. He's already ran 5 or 6 this year in that number 62 car for Beard. But I think RSR brings their program back and lets Austin Hill drive. Same thing for Brody Kosecki. I think he'll make a few select starts. He wants to come back with the connection for Rabbis. I think they both make a return with the team. Up next, how about the 34 car for Front Row Motorsports? This has been confirmed as Michael McDowell will return to 34 car for Front Row Motorsports in 2024. Michael McDowell's had a career year so far. Unfortunately, did get eliminated in the round of 16, but he's had a good year winning the Indy Road Course race and has shown a lot of flashes of brilliance in 2023, and I expect that their performance is only going to get better, but Michael McDowell for sure returns to Front Row Motorsports. Up next, how about the 36 car for Front Row Motorsports? Yes, I believe Front Row Motorsports is going to have another entry once again, their third entry that they've ran with Riley Herbst and Zane Smith. Speaking of Riley Herbst, I think he's going to be the actual driver of this number 36 car once again. Riley Herbst's future past this year is a little uncertain in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, but he brings sponsorship in funding, and that's what Front Row might be looking for to run their third entry. I can see Ty Majeski or Frankie Muniz getting a shot, but I believe that you're going to end up seeing Riley Herbst make some select starts in the 36 car. Up next, how about the 38 car for Front Row Motorsports? This has already been confirmed as Todd Gillen will be back in the 38 car for Front Row in 2024. Todd Gillen's been having a pretty solid year considering he's had to jump from multiple different teams and multiple different rides. He's been having a very, very solid year in the NASCAR Cup Series and has been the most improved sophomore driver this year. And I think that Todd Gillen will continue to do that in the 2024 NASCAR season. Up next, how about the 41 car for Stewart Haas Racing? While it's not been officially announced at this point, it's more than likely that Ryan Preece will return to the 41 car for Stewart Haas Racing in 2024. Ryan Preece is a good driver. It's not his fault that this team has struggled. Unfortunately, SHR has been way behind their game. They've been way behind the 8-ball, and there's been a lot of struggles with this team this year. But I think Ryan Preece will help the team get better. He's shown some flash this year in 2023, and will for sure continue driving the number 41 car next year. Up next, we're talking about the 42 car for Legacy Motor Club. This has been announced in the last 2 weeks that John Hernimachek will drive the 42 for Legacy Motor Club starting in 2024. John Hernimachek has been tearing up the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and also remember Legacy Motor Club is switching to Toyota in 2024. So I do believe that John Hunter Nemechek will be able to provide a lot of big assets to the team and looks to help Legacy Motor Club continue to their improvement, especially with them going over to Toyota next season. Up next, how about the 43 car for Legacy Motor Club? This is confirmed as well as Eric Jones will continue driving the 43 car for Legacy Motor Club in 2024. Eric Jones had a pretty solid year in 2023. Started off bad, but over the last 10 to 11 weeks, we've seen Legacy Motor Club get a lot faster. And Eric Jones has been a big reason for that. Eric Jones is one of the most underrated drivers currently in the NASCAR Cup Series right now and does a lot of great things out on the racetrack. Nonetheless, he'll continue driving the 43 car in 2024. With their switch to Toyota. Up next, how about the 45 car for 2311 Racing? This is confirmed as Todd Reddick has a long-term contract with 2311 Racing. Todd Reddick's been having a pretty solid year in the NASCAR Cup Series, scoring 2 victories and could win more races by the end of the year and has an outside chance to win the championship in 2023. Got that win a couple weeks ago with Kansas and looks to win more races and many more races for years to come. Up next, how about the 47 car for JTG Doherty Racing? This is already confirmed as Ricky Stenhouse Jr. will continue driving the 47 car for JTG Doherty Racing in 2024, as it was announced last year that he had signed a multi-contract year extension. So I think that Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has had a great year winning the Daytona 500, of course. Will be back in that car in 2024, looking to win more races and many more times. Up next, how about the 48 car for Hendrick Motorsports? This has been confirmed as Alex Bowman early in the year back in February during Daytona Media Days confirmed that he'll be returning the 48 car at least through 2026, and Ali has signed through 2028. While it's been a struggle this year for Alex Bowman, I expect him to have a bounce-back season. Remember, before the injury, he was leading the points, and then he got that 60-point penalty, and then he got that injury that he unfortunately suffered, and I don't think he's really fully recovered since. I think Alex Bowman, though, will have a better year in 2024. Up next, how about the 51 car for Rick Ware Racing? Now, I think Rick Ware Racing, once again, will have 2 entries in 2024. And I think they'll have this ride as like their multi-entry class, where they'll have J.J. Yealy. I think Riley Hurts will make a few starts as well. But I also think that Haley Deegan also will drive this 51 car on 1 or 2 starts in 2024. Ford really likes Haley Deegan a lot. They want her to move up to Xfinity for sure, and I think that's going to end up happening for her regardless of what team she goes to. And I think they're going to have multiple drivers get in this car in 2024. Up next, how about the 54 car for Joe Gibbs Racing? It's already confirmed as Ty Gibbs, of course, is the son or grandson, of course, of Joe Gibbs. And Ty Gibbs been having a really solid rookie season, has a really decent chance. He's already won the Rookie of the Year at this point, but I think 2024 is going to be even better year for Ty Gibbs. He's been really good with this team as a rookie. He had a chance to win Bristol a week ago, and I think that Ty Gibbs will do a pretty good job as a sophomore driver in 2024. Up next, how about the 55 car for Live Fast Motorsports? Now, it's obviously been announced that Live Fast Motorsports will not have a full-time team in 2024, but they're going to have a part-time entry. And I think they're going to bring the 55 car out that they had in 2021. And I think this ride is going to be split between Sheldon Creed, Anthony Alfredo, and BJ McLeod. I think Sheldon Creed, who made his debut with his Cup Series debut with Live Fast Motorsports, gets a few starts. I think Anthony Alfredo also runs a few races, and then, of course, BJ McLeod will drive. So I think this ride will split and return in 2024. Up next, how about the 62 car for Beer Motorsports? I believe Beer Motorsports once again will be back in 2024 and may expand their schedule. And I think that they are going to have Noah Gragson, who's a former driver of Beer Motorsports back in 2022. And I also think they're going to have Parker Kligerman in this car as well. Mo Grayson I think will be in the Xfinity Series, maybe with Call Race or maybe the Truck Series of Rackley. But I think Noah Grayson will get some select Cup Series starts on the super speedways. I think that Parker Cleveland will get some starts on the road courses. Parker is a pretty solid driver, but we will for sure see this team back with those two respective drivers. Up next, how about the 67 car for 2311 Racing? In 2024, I expect 2311 Racing to bring out the 67 car quite a bit more. I believe Kamui Kobayashi made his NASCAR Cup Series debut at the Indy Road Course. I think he's going to make a one-off start with this team. I also think that Carl Edwards will make a one-off return in the Cup Series in 2024 as well with 2311 Racing. I think that Denny Hamlin wants to bring Carl Edwards back in. And I also think other drivers like maybe Ryan Truex will get an opportunity and a chance. I had thought maybe Kurt Busch get an opportunity. Of course, Kurt Busch announced retirement at this point. But maybe Ryan Truex gets an opportunity and chance. Nonetheless, I think this ride will be split between multiple drivers and will run more races. Up next, how about the 77 car for Spire Motorsports? Now, I've already talked about Ty Dillon, where I think he's going to be headed over to Kaulig Racing next year. So who takes over the 77 car in 2024? Well, I predict that Carson Hocevar, who's been the most linked driver to the 77 car for Spire Motorsports and Cup, I think he's going to be the driver of the 77 car. Carson Hocevar has made select Cup Series starts with Legacy Motor Club and made his first start with Spire, and he did a very, very good job. So much that this past week at Bristol, he had a top 10 car and at one point ran in the top 5 in the 42 car that has struggled this past year. But I believe Carson Hocevar will get a full-time Cup entry in 2024 with this team. Up next, how about the 78 car for Spire Motorsports? Well, the number has not been officially announced for Spire Motorsports' third entry. We've obviously talked about a second ago. Live Fast Motorsports has sold their charter to Spire. I think the number is going to be 78, and I think that Zane Smith for sure will be driving this car, as Zane will be joining Spire Motorsports in 2024. Zane does have a multi-year deal with Trackhouse Racing, but they weren't able to buy a charter to get a third full-time team ready. But inevitably in 2025, they do want to have a third full-time team. Zane Smith will be really, really good next year, though, in my opinion, because they're going to have a lot of Trackhouse people working with this team, and Spire is getting a Trackhouse alliance as well. Nonetheless, Zane Smith will be in this car in 2024. Up next, how about the 84 car for Legacy Motor Club? It's already been confirmed the Legacy Motor Club will have the 84 car once again, and Jimmy Johnson will make select starts in the 84 car in 2024. Though we haven't known the races yet, I expect that to be revealed in the not-so-distant future. It's also believed that Trevor Bayne may get some chance opportunities. I think he's going to have an opportunity to drive. And maybe if Sammy Smith returns, he gets to drive this car as well. But this car is more reserved for Jimmy Johnson. Up next, how about the 91 car for Trackhouse Racing? Now, sadly, I think Project 91 is going to be gone at the end of this year. And I think we all know this for sure, but Shane Van Gisbergen is going to be driving this car on a development deal. Now, the number of races has not been disclosed at this point, but the schedule will probably be revealed in the not-so-distant future. But I'm excited to see Shane Van Gisbergen in NASCAR. I think he's going to have a very, very solid year in Cup. And I would not be surprised if he wins a race or two in all the series he's going to run. He's going to run some Xfinity races and truck races as well. But we will see Shane Van Gisbergen for sure race in NASCAR in 2024. And finally, let's talk about the 99 car for Trackhouse Racing. This is confirmed as Daniel Suarez signed a multi-year contract extension with Trackhouse Racing through at least 2025 or 2026. We all know that Daniel Suarez kind of struggled in 2023, but I blame Trackhouse Racing more than anything else, especially in the second half of the year, for their struggles at this point. But I do believe that we're going to see Daniel Suarez continue doing solid things next year, and we know for sure he'll be in this 99 car in the 2024 season. Hopefully, he can have a better year in 2024 because he could potentially be on the hot seat. So, those are my updated 2024 NASCAR silly season predictions. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Link description below that, and comment your thoughts below and your predictions below for 2024. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tomorrow on the channel, we have a NASCAR news video recapping all the news throughout the week. There hasn't been a lot of news this week, but we're recapping everything throughout the week. Then on Saturday, we'll have the NASCAR Xfinity Series race debut for Texas Motor Speedway. And then, of course, on Sunday, we'll have the NASCAR Cup Series race debut from Texas Motor Speedway as well. Got a lot of great content dropping the channel that I can't wait for you guys to check out. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.